What's happening, everybody? John Hendricks here for Boot Crew Media, coming at you with another episode of The Drive presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Well, the Saints obviously have had quite an interesting run over the past couple of weeks, and today was no different. As on Monday, they actually tinkered the contract, restructured the contract of Erik McCoy to create $8 million in cap space. So, what they ended up doing is they convert some of that bonus roster bonus into a signing bonus, gives McCoy a little bit more money, obviously, and they added a void year to his deal. So it adds a void year to the year 2028 when he's 31. So essentially, give him $10 million to make $8 million in space. Again, when the Saints do this, it drives capologists crazy, salary cap Twitter, whatever you want to call it, because this is a familiar tactic the Saints do employ to create cap space. Now, Mickey Loomis had talked about that, they wanted to get more in line with the cap, obviously. And, look, the salary cap, the way the Saints are playing this, every year the salary cap has traditionally rose. And so pushing the money down the line, kicking the can down the line, however you want to call it. Everybody talks about the bill come and due. It did happen because of the COVID years where they had to clear over $100 million in space, but they did it, and they were still able to create, opportunities to sign free agents. Now this year, a little bit, more 50 million, over in cap space. So they've already done two deals with Marcus May and now with Erik McCoy to create cap space. So this is nothing new for the Saints. They don't have to go crazy and cut people. In fact, cutting people would kind of hurt them a little bit because they're not going to get as much cap relief as they would if they do these types of restructures. And so more candidates will come. Erik McCoy, pivotal piece of the offensive line. He got a huge contract extension. Obviously, that was a big deal for him. It means a lot to him. He's a huge part of this offensive line. He's going to be important for years to come. Why not lock him up? Obviously, is the thinking that they did when they gave him the contract extension. But guys like that, you have some wiggle room and ways to play with their deal a little bit. Again, gives McCoy more money up front, kind of in a way, because, again, you're giving them that roster bonus into a signing bonus. So he's, regardless of whether the Saints keep him, whatever, that money's going to be owed to McCoy. But interesting practice, obviously, and controversial to some, but something that if you follow the Saints, as well as I do, this is a familiar practice. So more candidates to come. New Orleans is obviously an interesting pattern. We're going to the combine in about a week, less than a week, right? So is when it'll start. A lot of information to be gathered for this team as they approach the draft. And obviously paying attention to where Derek Carr goes. That's going to be obviously the talk of the town, if you will, until we figure out if he signs with New Orleans or if he signs with the Jets. The Jets are on a visit right over the weekend. That's where things stood with that. We'll kind of have to see how it plays out. But New Orleans creating cap space, doing their due diligence. That's never a surprise, never a bad thing. Was at the HBCU Combine today. A lot of Saints representation there. Kai Harley was there. Jeff Ireland, Michael Parrington, Gail Benson made an appearance. Very well put together event, I would say, for sure, at the Saints practice facility in Metairie. Tons of representation. The USFL was there. The XFL was there. I may have only seen two teams that I didn't see represented from a scouting perspective, but you had even guys like Omar Khan, the GM of the Steelers, that was out there for the HBCU. And Omar Khan, deep ties in New Orleans, but very interesting times. But again, the big news of the day so far would be that Erik McCoy has helped reach the Saints in their cap situation, creating $8 million in salary cap space for this year or 2023, and getting a void year deal added to his contract for 2028, and he gives them $10 million more. I'm John Hendricks. We'll have way more to cover for the Saints in this offseason. Stay tuned to Boot Crew Media, and don't forget to use that code BOOT. Get your chance to get some free money in betting. Thanks.